Do you want to know my thoughts on Ben 10? Are you sure you want to know my thoughts on Ben 10, guys? Because the way I feel about Ben 10 is the very same way I feel about Danny Phantom. These are two separate entities. And yet, I am fueled by my hatred of each. The hatred I know I have for each. It's not even necessarily about the show. I think Ben 10 is an amazing, remarkable show. I love that show. Just like Danny Phantom. I love Danny Phantom. It's an amazing show. Brilliant in its plot-driven episodes. It's a unique show. But I have to tell you, Ben 10, a kid who can turn into 10 aliens. I'm sorry. I think I don't like that. I do not like Ben 10 because he is just some kid whose name is Ben and he can turn into 10 different aliens. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. Ben 10. I'm sorry, I don't get it. I don't get Ben, and I don't get why he turns. You know, when I first heard about Ben 10, I initially thought this was a spinoff of Spider-Man's uncle. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So this is a universe where Spider-Man is living in. Peter Parker lives in a universe where he has 10 different versions of his uncle, Ben. So I don't know why they would make a show about that. Why would you make a show where Peter Parker has 10 different uncles, all named Ben? That's initially what I thought the show was about. So then when I actually watched it, I was really disappointed. Imagine how disappointed I was, the disappointment on my face when I saw the actual show. I went into Ben 10 thinking, wow, awesome, because this was right off the back of The Amazing Spider-Man, the original show on Fox. Went in there, started watching it, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be amazing. We're going to get to see 10 Bens, possibly 10 different ways that he dies. He gets murdered. This is going to be awesome. I'm watching the show, and it's just some little kid who finds like a little Rolex watch, and he's like switching the dials on the Rolex watch, and it transforms him into aliens. I'm like, no, this was not what I was expecting. And I was at least hoping, at the very least, to see Spider-Man show up at least once. He never showed up. Which probably makes sense because apparently Ben 10 is the story of Uncle Ben before he grew up to become an uncle to Peter Parker. That's what Ben 10 is a story about. So Ben 10 is a story about all the adventures that Uncle Ben went through when he was a little kid. He fought aliens. He became an alien. He saved the universe, I'm assuming. Then he grows up to meet Aunt May. He marries Aunt May. They have a kid. That kid then becomes, I don't even know the damn logistics. I don't know. I think like Peter Parker's parents were like spies or something. They were like Russian spies, and then they left Peter with his Uncle Ben. So now Uncle Ben is just an old man. Uncle Ben's an old man, and he's just taking care of his nephew. You know, he forgot about his ways, and he dies. This is a man who fought aliens, and he gets shot by some punk criminal on the street. And that's how he dies. That's the story of Ben 10. So I'm sorry, that's all I know about Ben 10. So that's all I know about Ben 10, guys. All right, next question. So that's how I feel about Ben 10. There's like there've been like how many Ben 10s? There was Ben 10 Freedom Fighters, Ben 10 Back at It Again with the Ben 10, and now there's just a reboot, I think, coming up with just entitled Ben 10, I believe. It's going to be a reboot of the entire franchise. If only Uncle Ben gave Peter Parker the Omnitrix before his death. Exactly! That's what he should have done! He should have said, hey, Peter, I know you are Peter. Oh, you know what? Maybe he did. He probably tried to give him the Omnitrix, but Peter was like, No, I was bitten by a spider, Uncle. So like I don't need that. I have my own super strength and abilities. I don't need to become like a weird alien creature to fight stuff. Besides, there's gonna be like this weird venom that comes from space and it's gonna attach itself to me. So like I'm good, Uncle. I don't really care for aliens. There's like one that's in space. It's a symbiote. It's gonna attach itself to me. So I'd rather just be Spider-Man 1 than Spider-Man 10 or 11 with, that thing.